What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Offset's second album, Set It Off. Offset's second album is finally here after being delayed nearly a year following the tragic and, of course, unexpected death of Takeoff, Migos member, like Offset. So, this was a long time coming. Similarly, we got the Quavo solo album, the second one of those as well, Rocket Power, just a few months ago. So we knew that we were going to get these two in quick order here. The second round of Migos solo albums, unfortunately, again, without Takeoff being able to contribute to this. And, I think this one was pretty interesting to me. I think probably more interesting going in than the Quavo album, which I also reviewed. Check it out, youtube.com/nostalgiapod. The Offset album was interesting because, of course, Offset had, fallen out with Take and Quavo before everything went down. We had the Quavo and Takeoff Unc Pew release right before Takeoff passed. Offset, due to some personal things, so we know, and of course, big falling out with quality control and management and whatnot. All that's resolved. This is now released strictly on Universal Music Group, and I've been curious to hear exactly how much Offset gets into how he feels about how Migos abruptly ended, both before and after, of course, Takeoff passed, two very different reasons in that sense, and how he feels about things now, because, of course, Quavo and Offset really awesomely bury the hatchet publicly and perform Bad and Bougie at the BET Awards earlier this year as a tribute to Takeoff. And I think that was really great to see, just from, fans of Migos, fans of Quavo, fans of Offset, to see that whatever squabbles they had in the past, and they definitely had something, they were able to at least put that aside for, the greater good of their sworn or their fallen brother, So I wasn't expecting Set It Off to be like a super bitter album, but you do get, I think, some interesting moments of clarity from Offset where he talks about how he's feeling about things, feeling like he was perhaps alienated, when things were going on, and painted as the bad guy and stuff. You don't get it all too much, and I think Set It Off as an album, his first solo album, Father of Four, was definitely the strongest of the three first set of Migos solo albums. I actually think Set It Off, I don't quite like it as much as Quavo's Rocket Power overall, but it's kind of splitting hairs here, because Offset, I think, as everyone knows, Offset was truly like the bedrock of the best Migos songs. The Offset verse, often the very best part of the Migos songs. As much as we love a great Quavo hook, especially back in 2016, 2017, you needed those Offset verses to hit for those songs to hit the high ceiling that they had. I just kind of rediscovered my love for Brown Paper Bag off the First Culture album. Offset just spitting fire as soon as the song starts. Offset was really the only one to do that consistently. Of course, the Takeoff verses, everyone really, I think, consensusly agreed following his passing that the Takeoff verses perhaps were some of the best verses often. He had probably the best pen, but man, Offset's flow and I think just consistency really always impressed me. And I've been a big fan of his, and he's demonstrated his ability to find success without Quavo and Takeoff. Look no further than the Without Warning project with 21 Savage and Metro. Of course, Ric Flair Drip, the biggest Offset song, the biggest solo song from any Migos member. I think the album, again, I didn't have really high expectations for it. I was just kind of interested about like those moments of clarity, which you do get in parts. I think Say My Grace kind of interestingly has some of the most lyrical moments from Offset, despite the fact that it's also presented as a big banger song featuring Travis Scott, one of the better Travis features we've had in some time. I think a lot of these are big flexing songs, or big boasting songs, or almost like manifesto type songs, like the first song, On the River. I think Don Toliver, Worth It, that song's all right. Future, pretty good on Broad Day, good chemistry. Of course, we get two Cardi B collabs, of course, Offset and Cardi. one of the, if not the biggest power couple in hip hop after Jay-Z and Beyonce, I suppose. I haven't really loved any Offset Cardi collabs. They have a handful at this point, both on Offset's albums, some other songs as well. Uh, I think they're all right. Like they never really like completely wowed me with any of these collabs. But of course, Cardi has a high floor, and between Freaky and Jealousy, I think Jealousy, the second one, is definitely the stronger of the two. Cardi, I think, is quite exceptional on that. We can definitely add that into just the amazing feature run she continues to consistently be on, despite the fact that it's now been close to 6 years since her debut album came out back in 2018. Of course, we had Shake It and Tomorrow Too, and I think Jealousy is not as big as those songs, but it's still a really good performance from Cardi and her and Offset. On that, I think it might actually be my favorite song they have together, to be honest. Yeah, I think the Lotto feature, fine as can be, they have pretty good chemistry there. Some interesting lyrical moments on like Night Vision and Blame It on Set, but I think overall it's all pretty solid, but also kind of unmemorable, unremarkable overall. And I think the most memorable thing to me between these two Migos solo albums we just got, the Quavo album and the Offset album, I think Patty Cake off the Quavo album was most memorable just because Takeoff was absolutely amazing on that in a posthumous performance, of course. That's probably the one thing I'm going to take away from this. But thankfully, Quavo and Offset seem to be able to move forward and are still doing pretty well for themselves, despite the fact that Migos is no more. I'm definitely holding out hope that one day Quavo and Offset can unite and do something together. Or of course, they won't use the Migos name, but these guys, and this was true when Takeoff was alive, they are certainly better together than they ever have been apart, even if they can do pretty well for themselves when they're solo or working with others. So hopefully one day Quavo and Offset are able to do something. It's obviously probably too soon to expect that. Hopefully one day though. But yeah, let me know, how did you feel about Offset's second solo album, Set It Off? And for more rap reviews, more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.